Afternoon, everyone. My name is Stelios Erodocridou. Welcome to this CaSTORC EuroHPC seminar, where I will talk to you about how to access resources. My name is Stelios Erodocridou. Welcome to this how to access resources, computational resources, and the various training opportunities that are available to you both in Cyprus via the National Competence Center and in Europe also. As it's now 4 o'clock, let's wait a couple more minutes before we fully start so that more people can join. So I'll be back in 2 minutes so we can begin. Well, good afternoon, everyone, again. For those who have joined just now, my name is Stelios Erodocridou. I am a scientific coordinator at CaSTORC. Welcome to this CaSTORC EuroHPC seminar, where I will be giving you an overview of how to access resources via the National Competence Center, and I will also be telling you about the training opportunities that we will offer as part of the National Competence Center. I will also talk to you about how to access resources in Europe and the training opportunities that are available in Europe as well. So this is an overview of the talk today. Again, I will talk to you about how to access resources via CaSTORC. So the national computational resources that we have, about how to access European resources, mainly through PRACE, and about the various training opportunities that we will provide in the next few months. We have training events, we also have forthcoming internships, and we have the seminar series, which will provide a various number of talks throughout the month, 2 every month. And I will also inform you about the training events that are available in PRACE, other projects such as the Centers of Excellence, and a similar internship program, which is the PRACE Summer of HPC program, which will soon be opening its program for applications. So One way to access computational resources by CaSTORC is through production access. This form of access will open soon. So next month, we will open a call for applications. And these type of call is aimed for projects which require large amounts of computational resources to carry out their research. Access will be given to Cyclone, which is the national HPC system. It's a system of around 600 teraflops. It's composed of 17 40-core compute nodes and 16 40-core compute nodes with 4 NVIDIA GPUs. As I said, the call will open soon. Please sign up to the CaSTORC mailing list, and you will receive an email when this will open. I will provide the link of where you can subscribe later on in the presentation. So the process for this production call is represented in this diagram here. Initially, there's a call for proposals, and people can apply for computational projects. And we will go through the form which can be filled in and the details that are required for these applications. So applicants have about a month or so, maybe more, maybe less, to submit their applications. This is the application period. Once this application period ends, comes the assessment period, where each application goes through an administrative review. In this review, we ensure that all the information provided by the applicants is correct, and it's the same because we have to submit an application form, and we also have a detailed document that applicants also need to fill in. So in the administrative review, we check that these information are the same in both forms. I'm going to go through the application form and the detailed document in a bit. So in this stage in the administrative review, we check the information is correct, and if any details are needed, we ask the applicants to provide us with the requested information. Applications later undergo a technical review and a project peer review, where they are assessed both technically and scientifically. And I'm going to go through these reviews in a bit as well. So the reviewers of both the technical review and the project review will provide input to the applicants. They will assess basically the application and will ask questions if they have any concerning their application. And after the reviews, the applicants have about a week to reply to any concerns that any of the reviewers have. Once this period ends, all the applications are then looked at by the Resource Allocation Committee, and they are prioritized, and the best projects receive computational time. So in this step of the assessment procedure, the projects are assessed, and those that should be given resources are given so, and others aren't. It's very rare that we reject applications. More than anything, some applications will get a decrease in the amount of resources that they will be awarded. So the allocation and the prioritization by the Resource Allocation Committee is based on scientific and innovation excellence. So only the best projects receive access and receive all of their requested resources. For all of the applicants, please make sure that you read the guideline for applicants. This is quite very important, okay? All the details that you need to submit an application are in the guideline for applicants, and this will be provided, a link to this guideline will be provided when the call opens. Now, as I said earlier, to submit an application for production access, applicants need to submit an application form and a detailed description document. I will now demonstrate both of them to you now. So here is the link where people can apply for resources. So if I click on here, you will go to this site here. If we go to sample submission forms, this is a sample of the application form. So some initial details are provided regarding the call. What's important here and what I want people to notice is that there are two successful applications, two example successful applications provided. These two here, and I would like all applicants to look at these applications before they start their own applications. These two applications were excellent, so they provided all the details they needed. So I suggest that all people who will be submitting, look at these first. So the application form requires a title, a research field, the details of the principal investigator, as well as the collaborators. It requires a summary of the project. This is basically the abstract of the project and will appear online when we publicize the awarded projects on our website. So please make sure that nothing confidential appears in this summary and that it's something that you want to publicize. We ask you on details of how you heard about the call, and then details about the application and software that you'll be using. Now, the operations team at the Cyprus Institute will install the software that you require. But it's important that if there's any software that you require that has a license, that this is provided by the applicants themselves. All other software should be installed easily by the operations team. We later ask if there's any enabling or optimization work that is required for the project. Ideally, there shouldn't be any, because ideally any applicants will have received preparatory access, which I will explain in a bit, where they try out their projects, where they try out the code before they can submit a production call application. We then require details on the data resources that are required, so the storage that is required for the project, and details of the jobs that will be submitted, the number of nodes, number of cores, the amount of memory per core which is required. Applicants are then requested to identify the computational resources they require, CPU resources or GPU resources or both. They're then asked to provide any bibliography, the methods they will follow to disseminate the project. So the conferences they intend to submit publications to, and any details of any aspects of confidentiality their project might have. Applicants are also requested to nominate up to 3 reviewers to assess their proposal, and we will do our best to use at most 1 reviewer that the applicants will suggest. We will find another 2 reviewers. So each project is assessed by 3 different reviewers, and we always aim to use 1 reviewer that the applicant suggests, if there's no conflict of interest and so on. We then ask the users for any previous projects or any previous computational experience or HPC access that they may have received. And then they should also upload the detailed description document that accompanies each application. This detailed description document I will present now. So this can be downloaded from a relative link in the application form, and it looks something like this. So again, applicants provide details of the project. So the project leader, the name, of the project and so on. The abstract, which can be the same as what appears in the application form. Then applicants are asked to describe their project and provide details of their scientific and innovation questions that they are planning to address. They are then asked to describe how they will manage their resources that they requested. So ideally here, we will want to see a Gantt chart, which identifies the different stages of the computational access, where applicants will identify the various experiments that they will carry out during the 12 months that they will have access to the computational resource. They are then asked to describe the software that they will be using, and then to identify why the project needs to run on HPC system. We then ask for scaling plots. So we ask participants here to identify the number of cores they will be using, the number of nodes they will be using, and why they have selected the number of nodes that they are suggesting they will use. I will open up one of those two example applications that are online, so you can see such a graph here. Applicants are then asked to describe their experience with HPC resources, and then to justify the number of core hours that they requested. So in this part of the document, they will identify the different experiments that they will carry out, the number of runs of each experiment they are due to carry out, so as to justify the number of resources that they are asking for. So now that we have seen this detailed document, the template of the detailed document, let's go and see one of the applications that we advise applicants to look at. So let's look at this one here. So this is an example of a filled-in application form. If we go towards the end, we will find the detailed document. So the applicants provide the background of the research, so their scientific goals of what they're trying to carry out in the computational project. They identify the novelty and the timeliness of the project, so as to give a good case for the project. Resource management section 2, this is what they do. They identify the various experiments that will be carried out in the various stages of the year. So here they have 6 different columns, each one corresponding to 2 months. And in each of them, they identify the experiments that will be carried out. The applicants in this case then identify the software that they will be using. They describe why their application needs to run on a HPC resource, and later provide the various experience that they have in the past on how to use HPC resources. So they provide the various applications or projects that they've been awarded on various systems. Here they justify the number of resources that they use. And here they say that they're going to carry out this run. It requires so many steps, and this will require so much computational time. And they basically sum up the resources that they are requesting. Let me show you the other application that we suggest people look at. So in the same way, they provide details of their scientific goals, their work plan, so the various stages of the experiments that they will be carrying out throughout the year. software that they will be using, the justification of the resources that they are requesting for, the previous experience of the group, and justification of the resources that they are requesting here. So as I mentioned earlier, each application undergoes a technical review and a project review. Technical reviews are carried out by the HPC operations staff at the Cyprus Institute. We need to, and these reviewers will look at if the application is ready to run on the HPC resource and for so many requested computational resources. Is it ready to run on the number of cores that the applicants say they will run on? Is it ready to run on the number of nodes that the applicants say they will run on? So the operations staff will be looking at scaling plots to make sure that the applicants have tested their code on the number of nodes that they say they will use. And they will also be requiring a time plan of the resource usage. So as we saw in the previous applications, the experiments that will be carried out throughout the year. This is required basically so the applicants are ready to use all of the resources that they are requesting and they will be awarded. Project reviews are carried out by international experts who work in the same field and the same topic as applications. So if an application is working on cancer treatment for pancreatic cancer, for example, then experts who work on the same field will assess such an application. And basically, project reviews are looking for will assess the scientific excellence of applications. Now, my recommendation, I have been chair of this review process throughout the years, is to treat your application in the same way as you would when you are submitting a paper at a conference. Because the scientific reviewers assess applications in the same way. So you need to give as strong a scientific case of your applications as possible. Don't allow the scientific reviewers or the technical reviewers to criticize your application in any way. So please provide as much detail as you can. So my recommendations here is to provide as much details as you can on your application so that it is as correct as possible. And in case any reviewer criticizes your application in any way, then make sure to address all of their comments fully in the right to reply stage of the application process. And if you have any doubts, look at the example applications that are provided or contact me at castorc.support@cya.ac.cy, the email I will provide later. So an example of the questions that the project reviewers will answer are these. So how well the proposal matches the core, review the quality of the proposal, the potential impact of the proposal, the assessment of the applicant or team. In this question, the reviewers will assess whether the team is capable of successfully carrying out the proposed project. In this section, resources and management, the reviewers will assess whether the requested resources are enough or not too much, and whether the team has a good plan on using all of the resources in the given time. Reviewers will also provide comments, which again, if they do provide any comments, make sure to address them in the right to reply section of the application process. So that was production access. As I said earlier, production access is for large projects which require large amounts of computational power, about 400,000 CPU hours or more. Another type of access that is offered by the Competence Center is preparatory access, which is open at the moment. You can apply for it now. So if you go to the, if somebody goes to our submission portal and they log in, please make sure that you have preparatory access selected. Sorry, I can't show you this at the moment. Sorry. So at the top left-hand corner of the screen that will open, make sure that preparatory access is selected. Now, preparatory access is only available for a limited amount of computational time. It's only given for projects which require the time for code scalability testing and code development and optimization. So if you need some time to check the scalability of your project so that it runs on more cores or so that it runs on more nodes, and to obtain scalability plots which are required for production access cores, and for code development and optimization. So you get some time to optimize your code so that it runs better on a HPC system. There is also code development and optimization with support. In this case, a member of staff from the National Competence Center high-level support team will help your project in optimizing and developing their code. But before you submit such an application, please first contact the support team at this email address here to make sure that we are able to provide support for your project. Now, applications for preparatory access are simpler. It's only a small description of the project and the aims of the access required. And the accounts are basically given, created within a week or so, once the application is received. So far I have given details on preparatory access and production access, which are offered by CaSTORC in the National Competence Center. There are other types of access that somebody can apply for, that is via PRACE. PRACE is basically the European high-performance computing infrastructure. It's a project that has existed for about 10 years, and it provides access to computational resources for European research scientists. Similar to the preparatory access that I described earlier, PRACE also provides preparatory access, but on bigger European systems, so systems that are petaflop systems and have much more nodes than Cyclone. The application process for PRACE preparatory access is simple. Again, as in the CaSTORC preparatory access, all you have to do is provide a short description of your project and what you will be requiring the requested resources for, whether it's scaling your application or developing your code or so on. Now, you can apply at any time for PRACE preparatory access, but you will get a decision on your application every 3 months. So if somebody submits in January, they will know if their application was accepted in at the end of March or start of April. So there's cutoff points when the different applications are assessed every 3 months. For more details on PRACE preparatory access, you can go on the PRACE website. So let me show you the PRACE website now. So PRACE website is here. If you go to HPC access, there's different access methods available via PRACE. So if you go to the call for proposals, these are the open call for proposals now. I will go through these in a bit. So under HPC access, we have preparatory access. This section of the website provides all the details on how to apply, the peer review process, and the link to where you can submit an application. Now, that was PRACE preparatory access. There's also PRACE Techie access. And for anyone interested, PRACE Techie call 17 is open at this moment and will be accepting proposals till the end of January 2021. Now, applications for Techie access are for large projects which require significant amounts of computational time, around, well, at least 2 million CPU hours and up to 5 million CPU hours. So access to this to Techie is given on large European systems, not the biggest, but very large, which are hosted by various PRACE members from Hungary, Czech Republic, various European countries. The application process is similar to as we described in the production access. Again, you have to fill in a similar form. You have to provide a similar detailed document. And the assessment procedure is very, very similar. Okay. So one thing to note in this Techie call 17 is that it is combined with EUDAT, and people can also apply for data resources. So they can ask for 4 million CPU hours on the system and 100 terabytes of storage. So this is together with EUDAT, and EUDAT is there to provide researchers with data resources, whether that is temporary data or archive data or whatever, and for a number of years. And so please apply if you need some resources and if you need data resources as well. So if you follow these links, then you can find where you can apply. I'm going to make the presentation available on the CaSTORC website, so you can download the PDF of this presentation, follow the links, and if you have any questions, you can contact me at any time. Another call that is open this moment is the PRACE ICEI call for proposals, call number 4. So let me try and show you this call because there's a number of resources that are available. So if you go on the PRACE website and then go to collaborative calls, you can see call 4, which was opened a few days ago. So this is PRACE in conjunction with Phoenix Research Infrastructure. So people can apply for computational resources, but they can also apply for other types of resources, whether that is archive resources, data resources, virtual machines. So if you go on this website here, webpage that you can find in the presentation, which I will make available, you can see the various HPC systems that are available, virtual machine services that are available, archive data, and so on that you can apply for. And again, these applications are also assessed in a similar manner as described earlier. So they go under technical review and they go under scientific review, and the best resource and the best applications are provided resources. The final type of access call that I would like to present to you is PRACE project access. This opens twice a year. At the moment, it is closed. The next call for PRACE project access will open in March. And these applications are for projects which require a substantial amount of computational resources. So projects which require at least 20 million CPU hours. And these projects undergo, as we described earlier, a technical review, a scientific review. They go through a prioritization process, and only the very, very best applications are provided access to PRACE systems, the large PRACE systems, which are these systems below. Now, at the moment, there's a new project that's come to the ecosystem. If many of you might know this, is EuroHPC, which has bought a number of systems, and these will be made available late 2021. Now, calls for access to these systems will also be managed by PRACE, from what we know at the moment. And similar to all the different calls that we described earlier, all applications undergo a scientific review, a technical review. They will be prioritized in some way and provided resources. Now, at the moment, we know that calls will be similar to PRACE project access, as I just described, but there's also going to be a variance to this type of call. At the moment, there's only plans for these, so there's nothing definite that I can currently present to you now. So that was it with the how to access resources, whether in Cyprus or in Europe. I will now present to you the various training opportunities that you can take advantage of and which are offered by the National Competence Center, by CaSTORC, or by other partners and projects in Europe. So in October, CaSTORC sent out a survey to the computational community, trying to assess the training needs of various groups and for industry. We thank everyone that has submitted their responses to our survey, as they have helped us identify what we could provide as training. We have a number of training events that we have scheduled. Our first will be in February, 15th to 17th. We have an industry week in March, intermediate training event in April, a hackathon in May, a training for industry event in June, and we will have our advanced training event in September. So details of these first 5 training events are online, and I will go through them with you now. So I'm going to go through them now, and if you have any questions, you can ask me about them later. So if you go on the CaSTORC website at castorc.cyi.ac.cy and scroll down to news and events, or click here, then you can have you will see a list of the various events that are scheduled. So let me open all of these up and go through them with you. So our beginner training event will take place in February 2021. Currently, due to the COVID situation, it will be carried out online, so anyone can join. It will be similar to this seminar series where it will be on Zoom, so there will be a link available for you to click on and just join. So in this beginner event, we will teach the basics of how to access HPC systems and use HPC systems. So let me zoom, sorry. So a tentative agenda is this event will have an introduction to HPC, providing participants details of the basics of parallel programming. We'll also provide an introduction to data analysis and artificial intelligence algorithms. We will then give a presentation on how to access HPC infrastructure, similar to the first part of my presentation just now. And then we will have a short introduction on Linux and how to connect on to a HPC system using SSH. In the second day, we are scheduled to present how to submit jobs on the system, the environments, the software environments on the system and how these can be found, and an introduction to Slurm, which is the queuing algorithm that is used on the HPC system. We will also provide a detail on scripting, Python, and version control of your codes. On the last day, we are scheduled to have a brief introduction to parallel computing with MPI and OpenMP, and we will mostly focus on OpenMP here in this section. In the industry week, which is scheduled for March, again, this will be online. This will be composed of a user forum where users, every one of you who is online now, can participate and basically inform us of the services that you need from us. Inform us of what you require for you to access resources, on how to use your resources better, and how basically the National Competence Center can help you. We will also then have entrepreneurs and industrialists gathering where people from academia and industry will meet and get to know each other, and ideally then go on to form collaborations between them. We will then have an industry event where together with industry, we will prepare projects for students and for interns to work on. Now, sorry, let me then go on to our intermediate event, which will be held in April. Our intermediate events, ideally, participants of the intermediate event will have followed the beginner event, as it requires some prerequisites. I mean, because we're going to be teaching MPI, OpenMP, and how to submit on these kind of jobs on a system. Ideally, we would have wanted these participants to follow the beginner training event so that they could know all this information that we will use in the intermediate event. So in this event, we aim to teach participants MPI, OpenMP, and hybrid programming. Hybrid programming is when you use MPI and OpenMP together. We also aim to teach participants about Python for HPC, so how to use Python for HPC jobs, and profiling, optimizing, data management, which will be taught in the last day of the event, which are also needed for projects. In May, we are scheduled to have a hackathon event. In the hackathon event, again, this currently is scheduled to be online, but we will do our best, if possible, to have physical presence. Before this event, we will have a call for applicants to apply for this event. Mainly in this hackathon, people will be assigned a person from our high-level support team, and the support team member will help groups with the projects, help groups with the code. So if they have any difficulties in scaling up the code or difficulties in optimizing the code, the user support member will help them in optimizing or scaling. So before the event takes place, we're going to ask for people to apply for this event and to give a description of what they want to work on with the support team member. And obviously we can only help a number of people because there's a number of people that are available in our support team. And we will only select the projects that we are able to help. Obviously we'll do our best to try and support everyone in one way or another. So these are the current scheduled events for the next few months. We also have a training for industry event, which is scheduled to take place in June. Here we will need your help to identify what we will be helping industry with their training. Basically, we got a few responses from the training survey, and we are engaging with various companies and to identify ways in which we could help them and support them with their work, but also for their training. So if there's any participants in this seminar which are from a company and which would like to reach out to us on how we can support them and how we can help them with their training, then please contact us at castorc.support@cyr.cy. Now, we also have our last event, which is scheduled for September. In September, we will have our advanced training and simulation event. In this event, we are scheduled to have sessions on GPU programming, so CUDA programming, and we also have sessions on data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning techniques, as well as simulation training. So how you can use simulation to look at something, a natural phenomenon, for example. We will also have in the CaSTORC National Competence Center internships. Internships will start sometime in early next year. If you look at the CYI job board and the CaSTORC website, the links of which you can follow through the presentation, you can see the list of available internships. These will be paid, and interns will work on a computational project, whether that may be with an industrial partner or another academic partner. And during the period of the internship, they will basically improve the HPC skills. So the internships are there to carry out a computational project, but also, more importantly, to train people on using and increasing the HPC skills. So further to internships, we have a seminar series which occurs twice every month. Mostly this will take place in every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Cyprus time. A list of these events will appear soon on the CaSTORC website under the News and Events page there. So this was presentation of the training opportunities via the CaSTORC National Competence Center. There's also training opportunities that people can take advantage of from Europe. PRACE, as I said earlier, is the European HPC infrastructure, but it provides a large number of training events, about more than 100 training events each year. And due to the COVID situation now, most of them are online, if not all of them are online. You can find a list of these training events by following this link here. This is a link to the PRACE training portal where you can find material of previous events as well. But on the front page, you can find a list of the forthcoming training events. And if you follow one of these links here, then you're taken to the events website where more details are provided. And if you follow the second link here, this is the events, the PRACE events website. If you go to PRACE training events and PRACE training center events, then you can find the list of training events. By selecting one of them, you can find more details of them on the various aspects which will be taught, and also register. So that was the PRACE training events. Now, similar to the internship program, the PRACE also has the Summer of HPC program. This is basically a summer internship program for undergraduates, where they can apply to work on a computational project. In the previous years, before COVID, these programs, the interns basically carried out their project on site. So people from, let's say, Greece applied to the program, they were accepted, and then they got to spend 2 months in Barcelona, for example, working at the Barcelona Supercomputing Center on a computational project. Now, in this year, this was held online, so the selected interns were still working on a computational project, but were doing so remotely. But they had regular contact with their mentors. Now this year, in the next year, we're not sure yet if it will be an online event or a physical event. We will see depending on the situation. Now the application period for the Summer of HPC program opens very soon, 15th of January. And by following the link to the Summer of HPC website, people can look at the various projects that are available on the 15th, please, and can apply to it as well. Now, there's also training events carried out by the various centers of excellence. So there's about 10 centers of excellence for HPC applications. If you follow that link, then you can find links to where you can find the various training events of the different projects that are under Focus COE. Now, I will also like to present to you a new website which was made online about 2 weeks ago. This is the HPC in Europe portal. So if you follow that link, you will come to this page. This site is new and has been designed and developed the last 2 years or so. So this site, this portal will be the go-to portal for HPC in Europe. So we aim for this portal to have all the information related to HPC to appear here. So all the different calls that calls for computational access, whether that is PRACE, EuroHPC, collaborative calls with PRACE, or CaSTORC calls for computational access, these will all appear here. All the training events that will take place in Europe, these will also appear here. So this is a very good portal to have in mind. So because all the information related to HPC will appear on this portal. So this is your #1 shop, basically, for all aspects of HPC. We're in the process of populating this. This should be ready within the next 2 months or so. So I've basically come to the end of my presentation. I leave in this last slide important links that you can follow. Again, I will make this presentation available online for you to follow the links to. So for access to resources, follow this link. and you can find access to computational resources from CaSTORC or from PRACE and so on. In this link here are the details of our seminars and our training events. For our internships, please follow these two links. These will appear soon in the next month or so. For any support, for any help that you may need, whether that is accessing resources or help with applying for resources, or how to submit your application correctly, or if you need help on the level of detail you need for applications, or the support that you might need for your projects, please contact us at castorc.support@cya.ac.cy. And please consider subscribing to our mailing list by following this link, where you can enter your details, and basically you will be added to our mailing list, and you will receive an email on any news or activities related to the Competence Center, whether that is opening of a call or upcoming seminars or upcoming training events or anything else. So thank you very much for your attention. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do my very best to answer them. So let me see if anyone has raised their hand. So I'm told that nobody has something from YouTube. Oh, okay. So Constantia Alexandru has one here. So please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Stelios, for this nice presentation. Maybe I missed it. Do you have any timeline for the petascale machines in Europe and for the pre-exascale machines? Do you know anything?
They are late. So the procurement of the systems, I know, was delayed a bit due to contractual reasons mostly. So we are expecting the petascale systems end of, there will be a PRACE call in March 2021. They will not be ready then. The next one will be September 2021. The petascale systems should be available for the September call. Yes.
And the pre-exascale also?
Maybe one of them.
Yeah, the one of them, the roomy one.
Yeah. The others are expected to be available in the March 2022 one.
Okay, thank you.
Yannis, you have a question? Yannis Kotsu?
Yeah, thanks. You probably mentioned it, but I might have missed it. So the hands-on exercises for in the trainings will be on Cyclone, yes?
Yes.
And this is potentially open also to interested people that have not accessed Cyclone ever. So it's not just for the current users, right?
Well, our training events are open. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention this. So
yeah,
our training events that we have at the moment, these are open to everyone and they're for free. Okay, so anybody with whatever experience level of HPC experience they might have can join. Obviously, somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience won't understand much in the more advanced training events, which is why we have a series of training events. So the first one is the beginner. So I advise everyone to, people that don't have much experience with HPC, to first follow the beginner training event, and then the intermediate, and then they can carry on with our advanced one. So that's why the first one is the beginner and then the intermediate one.
Thanks.
Vangelis, you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Stelios. Thank you for the nice presentation. It's also for the students and the new members, let's say, of the center. So can you comment a little bit on how competitive are this call for PRACE, the proposals?
Calls for PRACE, you mean?
For the PRACE calls, yeah.
The PRACE calls, they're
what do we expect probably for the petascale or the pre-exascale calls?
Okay, so the pre-exascale and the petascale, you're talking about the EuroHPC system calls, okay? At the moment, as I said to Professor Alexandru, these are scheduled for September, if these will be available. I don't think they'll be available in the next one, which is in March 2021. So let me first say in the competitiveness of PRACE Project Access. PRACE Project Access is quite competitive. So even if an application is scientifically excellent, some other applications might be more excellent. So there is a prioritization of the applications, and the ones that make a threshold cutoff are accepted. But even if they do make a cutoff, there may not be enough resources for them to be awarded resources. So it's very competitive. Now, as I said earlier, EuroHPC calls on the petascale and the pre-exascale systems, they will follow, there's going to be, okay, so I was in the group where we designed the various access methods, the various calls for EuroHPC systems. The most competitive one is similar to the PRACE project access call, but there we expect projects to apply for about, well, at least 100 million CPU hours and over. Okay, those are expected to be very, very competitive. There will also be, well, there's plans for other types of access via EuroHPC, which is for 20 to 50 million CPU hours, maybe up to 70. So those will be less competitive. There's also plans for a call where people can apply for immediate access. So they will apply, they will submit an application, and they will get access within a week or 2 weeks of resources. And we're talking about 50 million CPU hours of resources. But this isn't something that a lot of people are expected to get resources on. These are for emergency applications. For example, a COVID outbreak or another outbreak, hopefully not. People require resources, they submit, they require immediate resources, people will submit and get access. Or if there's a fire, let's say in Central Europe, and they want to model how a big fire, and they want to model how the fire will spread, they will apply for immediate access and get access within a few days, if not the same day, if it's such an emergency. So there's different access methods that are coming up. Obviously, there's different competition in them. And if you notice that the numbers that I've mentioned, so DECI access is for about up to 5 million. Currently, project access is the next step to DECI. So 5 million and over, 10 million actually, and over, and up to, I don't know, maybe 100 at the moment. And the EuroHPC course will be the next stage of that. So 100 million CPU hours and over. The level of competitiveness increases the more resources you request. But as I said, Vangelis,
okay.
I had a comment, if I may, Sterios here.
Yep.
If you go back to the PRACE IC, call these ones, yes, the top ones. Okay, I have some inside information there because I'm a reviewer. These calls, these are under Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Okay, these are not so competitive calls. So when you can access actually top machines in Europe. So this is something that maybe people want to consider. because I have seen it's very easy to apply. It's about 3 pages. So it's relatively straightforward. And I think, you know, you could easily get resources.
How much can you get in this
on
course?
state-of-the-art machines.
How much can you get from this course?
I don't remember, it varies, it specifies, it's not a very big course, but it's substantial actually, and this will give you, you will get a lot of experience in using state-of-the-art machines.
So the minimum request for a HPC system is 36,000 node hours, okay? So node hours, not CPU hours.
Yes, this is GPU hours, huh?
Yeah.
This is P-stain.
Yeah.
GPU or node hours? Is it the same or not?
No, this is,
no.
well, in this particular case, there is 1 GPU per node, so,
okay, so it's the same.
I think, right? Yeah.
But I'd like to stress that DECI is open.
DECI is open.
So it's open till the end of January. And these are the various systems that are available, okay? And here, a very good amount of computational resource can be.
This is between 2 and 5 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we got in the past this, so we know.
Okay. So it'd be good to apply for this as well.
Okay, thanks, Thomas.
Does anyone else have any questions? Sorry? Yeah, no.
There was a question in the chat here, Stego.
I'm trying to find it.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah, please. I can't find it on my computer.
So the question is from Dimitris Mintis. It's in case of consuming our computational resources, can we ask for an extension?
You can always ask for an extension, but that will require a good excuse, a good reason why, and it will only be for a few months, at most 3. I mean, in DECI, I know that they're flexible, they give up to 3 months extension, but there should be a good reason as to why this extension is needed. Ideally, we want all projects to use their resources in the given time, so in the given 12-month period, and uniformly throughout the different months.
Stelios, if I may add on that, I think the question is related more for the cases that the computational resources have been consumed. So, I mean, we finished this and we want more time also.
Okay, so
well, that depends on the policy of each center.
That's what. But I think it's
there is
difficult.
no uniform policy across all machines.
But I think, if I'm not wrong, in general, this is not encouraged, let's say, right?
No, it depends. I mean, it depends on which machine, but it's typically hard to get a lot more resources than what you are granted.
Some centers, they allow applicants to submit jobs, but at a lower priority. So eventually their job will go in the system if it allows, if there's enough space, but they will do it after some time. So their priority drops significantly. Is there any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. So again, if anyone has any questions or requires support, then please contact us at this email address and inform us of what you need, and we'll do our very best to help you out.
Okay, thank you very much, Stelio. This was great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stelio.